Okay, we are live again with a masterclass session from Fede Tanuscio, our Argentinian who is living and working and playing hockey and coaching hockey in the beautiful province of, or the beautiful country of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. Fede, welcome. Uh, Topic for today will be circle penetrations. Always a very exciting topic if you're coming close to the goal, the heartbeat goes up, and so we all love those kind of topics, and especially at practice, that's the drills that we live for, obviously, the ones where we get the score. Um, but first, people, some housekeeping announcements. As usual, if you are here, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube or on Twitter, let us know in the comments where you are from, so that we know who is in the room. And please do not be shy. Ask your questions. Give us your remark. Give us your feedback in the comments during the presentation from Fede, obviously, so you don't forget your questions, and we will deal with all of them during the Q&A afterwards. But let's make it an interactive session here. Fede, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Ernest. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Yes, as Ernest said, we're going to discuss today regarding circle penetrations. The first step will be different ways to make circle penetrations. And once we are on the circle, how to divide the possibilities and the situation to develop better actions inside the D. Okay, so I will start to share my screen right away. That, and we can go up. Great. I'm sharing now. I'm sharing. Yes, Ernest, you see my image?
Uh, yep.
Yep, that's good. Great. So here we are. So as I said, we're gonna start talking about circle penetrations from outside to inside the D. Okay, that will be the topic of today. What we're gonna discuss today, the first topic will be outside the D, different ways to get the ball inside the circle. Second topic will be how to play inside the circle in the small area. The third topic will be circle stats. Okay, well, they score more goals in which part of the circle. And the last point will be develop a training session with this topic regarding circle penetrations. Okay, so let's move forward. We're gonna start directly with the outside the D. So from outside to inside. Here we're gonna see different ways to get inside the D. Okay, of course, we have the standard situations like you can go with carry balls into the D or balls to the circle with the hits. Okay, but here we're gonna see in different way how to do it. Okay, so from the first one, we're gonna start to seeing balls from the right side of the field. Okay, so if you see now in the video, we're gonna start to analyze when we have the balls in the right side of the circle. Normally, when we have the balls there, the most of the time you have this channel free, and that's something when you really need to use a lot to put the balls there. So when we are running into the ball there, the corner, the top corner right, if we shoot the ball there, the most of the time the balls arrive to a good destination because the most of the time the lever is in those positions. So here, if you see, well, we have a pass channel in that way, and it's very useful if we attack that space. We use that space. Okay. Here we have another example regarding that point. So it's the same scenario. That channel is free. And then we have the balls arriving to the good destination again. So if you see that channel exists, so after we're gonna see how to develop better and be much more performer inside the circle. Now we are talking regard outside to inside. Second point, we're gonna talk about combos. Combos I will explain in the video better. Is when the player leave the ball to the second player inside the circle. So here is the right displaying. Okay. So the player leave the ball pass, and then the player behind can receive the ball better, and then that's working a lot. Okay. So we have another example regarding combo situation from Argentina. There, if you see, was Argentinian player. Okay, that player who takes the position. I mean, close to the libero. Okay, that's also working really well. Okay. Another point is put the balls inside the D. Okay, but playing outside of the libero reach. That's a common topic. Okay, so if you see, Scan that way, the libero is in that position. Okay, and we put the ball out of the libero reach. Okay, balls are coming. So we have a second example regarding that. So if you see the libero is in that position, we play the ball out of the libero reach. That's she's taking the hotline, the libero, and the free space is out of the libero reach. Okay, good, great. Another point, how to play the balls inside the D, that will be with deflections around the circle. Okay, tack, deflect the ball around the D. That's also important. Okay, and great. So just to make sure regarding the points, how to put the balls from outside to inside, as we said, remember well, the channel on the right side, hitting the balls, that's always open. We have the combo situations, okay, when we have a player in front of us make pass the ball. We have the deflections around the circle, and we have the play the balls out of the libero reach, just to recapitulate everything that we were talking. Now let's talking about how to play inside the D, okay? Here we give a structure. I mean, we call hit zone when it's the small area. The small area is the area inside the penalty stroke situation. I mean, it's the small circle inside the circle. And here we create a way to have tools for the players to identify better which action you have in front of you and which decision you should make. And the decision making is really important in this topic. So we divide or we split in three situations. So we have dynamic situations inside the circle, retard situations, and no return situations. So here we're going to explain about all these three topics. Of course, I'm going to give you videos and explain well what means every one of those things. And then that will be maybe easier to understand what we talk about it. Okay, so let's start first one with the dynamic situations and the circle. So here we see dynamic situation is when you have the possibility to attack the free space into the field. Okay, so here we have an example. The player from Australia have the ball, and the other striker from Australia identify the free space, and then is try to attacking the free zone in a dynamic situation. Okay, so here we have a video to show about it. That will be much more easy to understand. So if you see there, you gonna have the ball. Okay, the free space is over there, and the player can directly to play the ball into that zone. Okay, that's a dynamic situations. Okay, here we have another scenario. Okay, coming from the middle. Okay, so we have to be okay. The space to win is there, and it's coming in a dynamic position to finish the action. Okay, good. So the principle of this action is attack the free space with movement to finish the action with a deflection. Okay, retard situation. Okay, retard situation is here is a very clear example. If you see the little wall in the Dutch defense, if you want to go to the free space but you see you have players, you cannot go that position. So it's too late to go that. That's what we call retard situation because we are in retard to attack the free space. So what we can try to do it is try to create your own space at the back to receive the ball. I mean, create the space back of the defenders to try to receive the ball behind of the defender line. Okay, so here we have two examples. The first one, okay, of Pakistan. If you see well, that will be here. Okay, scanning the free spaces over there. Okay, and that player goes to the. You see, it's not possible to be in dynamic, and then it's going to the retard situation. Is here the same. He cannot be in dynamic position to finish the action. So he identified, and then he go back to receive the ball and score the goal. Okay, so that was the principle. At the moment we see dynamic situations, retard situations, and now let's talk about no return situations. No return situation is concerning when you cannot play the ball in dynamic situation, when you don't have possibilities, when you want to try the dynamic situation, no space enough. You want to go to retard situation, no space enough to move. And then after we have the no return situation. That would be here. We have actions, okay, when we have the player who carry the ball inside the D. And if you see that picture, it's beautiful because we don't have space to go in retard or dynamic situations. So here we have to be really looking the position, the little picture of them, if you see the position of the striker is showing the deflection, okay, the stick on deflection. So what I try to do the most of the time is stick with the position to deflect the ball and just putting the ball on the stick to try to deflect the ball in that way, okay? So here we have two examples regarding that. So it's the position. There we have the player to deflect the ball, okay? If you see it's not possible to play dynamic, not possible to play in that position, and then tack, we need to tag the player to put the ball to deflect the ball in that position, okay? Here we have another example concerning that point, okay? It's the same scenario, no possibility to play dynamic, no possibility to play in retard. So just target the ball to that player for a deflection, okay? Another option, what is no return situation, is bouncing balls inside the D. That is a bit controversial because sometimes it's 50-50%. Sometimes you lose the ball, but sometimes you can get corners and you can receive goals as well. Here we can have two examples, of course, when the successful actions. But as I said, it's an option. Maybe we can use inside the circle when we have any solution. So here we have with the two bouncing balls, okay? See, bouncing balls inside the D. Sometimes the defenders are touching, deflecting, they want to stop. You can receive corners, you can receive goals. Okay, and it's the same scenario that. Okay, so that's when it's not return situation. We should try to at least it's sometimes we have to lose the ball to win something. Okay, so that was a clear example as well in the under 21 World Cup. Okay, no option at all. Bouncing ball, tag the defender, and then finish inside the net. Okay, Sante goal. Great. So regarding the stats, just I take the stats of some row. Okay, regarding the stats inside the circle, well, they score more goals and which zones is the most of the goals. So here we have the graphic. So the most of the time where you see where we score most is in the mold circle. So that's what I said. If you have at least a little structure how to play inside this zone, we can be much more efficient, and that's why it's really important to work in this part of the field. And after we have middle right 22%, middle left 13%, and then we have far right, far left just with 6% of efficiency. Okay. Here we have the techniques, how we score inside the circle. So we have deflections, 50% of the goals. Split grip, 40%. Flick push, 12%. Floor second, a score, 4%. Forehand hit, 4%. That is just inside the circle, the hit zone, okay? It's when we said that the 50 in the last screenshot, we see it, was what there were the statics on the 53% of the goals. Okay, slap sweep 4%, roll shoot 2%, tomahawk upper right, and then the rest of them is the 2% of efficiency inside the small circle with the technique, the skills. Okay, so now let's talk regarding how to plan or how to create a circle presentation regarding how to do in a season. Okay, a training session. Okay. Here we have the first drill, okay, just to warming up. We have, yeah, I mean, if you see there, we have the balls. The balls are going for three parts of the field, right, left side, and from the middle. Okay, we have two initial lines in the beginning. And then the most important thing is a goal scoring position and working on the far post player. Okay, and the offensive, that will be really important, being hockey strong position. So everybody try to be lower to receive the ball and get rebounds in the case you have it. And it's really important the positions inside the circle and the circle, how to develop better our actions inside the team. Okay, so let's see now. The exercise start. We pass the ball from there to that player. After the second player is running to the far post to receive the ball, that player have the possibility to select if you make the pass for deflection or if you hit in the ball. After your hit is coming a second ball from the other side, okay, to play deflections or to be one against the goalie at the far post as well, okay, and that's it, okay. So here we have a little video regarding the exercise, okay. So as I said, the ball start from that player to that player. That's important. Here we have, again. So here we have the possibility to shoot or make a deflection. So we see we are on the far post. Post player, possibility to hit the ball in D or play a deflection. Okay. And as I said, the ball's coming to the right side. Okay, that was the channel we were seeing in the first video. Okay, and it's a free zone. We almost never use it. What I try to work with them, it's one play on the baseline to deflect the ball to the middle to get something unusual. Okay, because the most of the defenders, when the players are on that side, they leave them to receive the ball there. So deflect the ball in the middle. That's the second ball coming. Okay, tack, deflect, and we finish in the action. Okay, that's when the ball is coming to the right side. Let's see when the ball is coming to the left side. Okay, so it's going there, far post player, and the ball is coming to that position. Okay, for deflection or second post player. Okay, that's the first drill. The second drill will be almost exactly the same. The only thing we will change is just we are not hitting anymore. We're gonna go directly to the initial positions. Okay, and really try to play the balls to there and deflect, okay, and that will be exactly the same from the other side, okay. So just let's see on the video what we have here. So we have the positions. Here is free the player to pass the ball and that player and make it in 2 touches, finish the action, or directly pass the ball to the far post player. Okay, so here we have the second balls coming from the left side, positions in the circle, deflect, or second post player. Okay, so here we have another action, and the idea of exercise is really making the faster we can to work on the positions and the players beside the post. So a dynamic drill, okay, with a position, because until now we were working just without a position, and I think it's important when we develop something, have at least a minimum of a position to identify, and also the fact of making decisions, because in the game that's a really important point if we can develop on the training sessions. So as I see in the videos, we start without a position, static, dynamic, and then now we're gonna move into with opposition. So the first drill, we have 3 zones. So zone A, B, and C. And we're gonna start the exercise like a 2v1 inside the circle. So the exercise, we're gonna start playing with 1v2, the first action coming from the A, 3v2 coming from the B position, and the last point would be, and then from coming from the C would be a 4 against 3. Really important points. The offensive points that have to go for the strikers, find corners, positions inside the circle, and hockey strong positions. Defending, okay, will be depending of the marking, because every time we're going to be in under low situation, so that's really important how we're going to defend it. Good communication, and for defenders, very important inside the D, two hands tackles. Okay, so let's move to the exercise. The first ball is coming from here. We have the first 2v1 in this zone, or 2v2, that can be the same. Great. The second ball are coming from the B point, okay? So the players who are playing the first ball, they still playing, and then at least we create a 3v2 in that action, okay, or 3v3 depending, right, in all the circle, right, good. And the third ball is coming from the C point, okay? So the players who play in the from the B ball still involved in the action, and at least we finish with a 4v4 situation inside the D, okay? Very important things. When the defender recover the ball, that's what I said. What happened when the defenders recover the ball? Because also it's a good point. How they can finish the action, getting a fault, or, for example, the defender recover the ball, they have to try to make a pass, okay, from the outdoors, for the exit doors. You can make a pass for the players in both sides, depending where you receive the ball or you recover the ball. You have to try to play the balls in these ways like that. Okay, that's the goal for defenders. So let's see quickly the exercise. So we have the ball number A coming from here. So we have the first 2v1 inside the circle here. So that's good. Great. The second goal is coming there from topic there. It's a 3v2 in that position. Okay. Okay, as I said, really important to get corners. That's good. And the last ball coming from here, a 4b3. Okay, great. To have a final game, to transfer everything, we made it in the small situation, small side games. How to develop a final game that will be really easy. We have to split the field in diagonal, if you see that, with 2 circles. And then what you have to try to do it, at least we're going to have circle penetrations in everywhere. I mean, in every single moment, we're going to have circle penetrations in those ways, and we can still working what we were working before. We can transfer what we were working before in the final game. Of course, really important things. A diagonal game, I call positions at the circle. The offensive point to pay attention, there will be situations inside the hit zone, ball from outside to inside, hockey strong positions. And the defensive point to be pay attention, that will be marking, good communication, and two hands tackles. Okay. Of course, after that, if you see, we can change the diagonal, okay, of the exercise, and then we have penetrations in the opposite ways as well if you want to do it. Okay. So that was all the presentation from today. Oh, 1 second. Just I want to close that. I will start to stop the sharing, and then it's fine. That was everything from what I was.
There we are. There we are. Once
Yeah.
again, a very dynamic and fluid presentation here, Fede. We're all jealous of your computer skills and the video skills there. Um, but coaches, we are almost 40, 50 in the room. Now's the time to bring on your questions. Let's not stay shy. And what are your questions? What are your remarks? Is this the way that you train your circle penetrations? Do you have a different way? Uh, your questions for Fede. Now is the time to bring them on in the comment section here. Um, Fede, the first question from me then is would you train it differently with a younger group, with a youth group, who's maybe not at the top level yet, so less control over their shots in the circle, and those elements. So how do you train with a group like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's also a really good question regarding that because that will be for the youth teams, let's say under 14 years old. That's very difficult to control the shoot, the distance, the dangerous at the moment to hit the ball, the strikers. So what I do with them is just without opposition. I mean, I'm doing exactly the same exercise, but without opposition and the opposition we have on the games. Up just starting for under 14 teams, there, yes, I'm start to get it little of position. Of course, every time working in under low situations, a defender, because that will be easier for the strikers to find the positions and find the players free. But yes, that's how I'm doing with them.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the question here from yeah, not really related to the to trading, but from what tournament or competitions were the stats taken?
That was for the last World Cup in India, 2018. That was Sam Rowe who
Yeah,
made it. And just I took the info for him. Yeah, it's a really good
absolutely.
one.
You should, yeah, every coach should look up Sam Rowe on the social media. He's doing he shares a lot of stats from the major tournaments. So that is absolutely a worthy person to follow on social media. Um, Guys, any more questions from you? Fede, one more from me then is:
Sure.
are there any specific exercise that you would do from fixed positions, from let's say a free hit or a long corner to get that circle penetration?
Yes, I mean, I'm working on that as well. We can work it, but that's also really important regarding the age of the kids. But yes, we have different ways to get in the circle with free hits. So one of them can be the deflections around the D. I think in damas we can see a lot, in boys as well we can see it. Another point is play the balls out of the liver reach. Other situation regarding the long corners is if you have the player have the ball there, you have one player at the back, play the ball to that player, and that player is who pass the ball to the circle to have the 5 yards done before you put the ball. And also, what you can do at that lot is also when you have we said that the carousel. I mean, the player who has in the ball leave the position free, and the other one take the ball to get in the D. I mean, that's how we work it or how we make it. The free hits around the circle, long corners, all those situations. Much more on that. I mean, we are not working a lot on that. Just I show the videos, I give the principles, and the guys know. I mean, in which situation they must use the tools to develop those actions. I mean, also I like the players identify what they have in front. Also,
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Maybe a good question here from Shobana.
yeah.
Should it usually be a ball start very close to the circle to train circle
No,
penetration? I don't
that
think
was
so,
a
huh?
good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Just in that example, we do it like that just to have more dynamic in the exercise, to make faster, because we were so many that day, were so many kids, and I have so many strikers and midfielder. But no, normally we start the balls coming from outside of the D. But it was a good question, sure.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, even if you bring them in from further down the road, you need more control of your shot, obviously. Yeah.
The skills as well, yeah.
Yeah. Follow up question then, probably from Sobana, is: do their structure and system of play also take into consideration while training the circle penetration?
I don't get it well, that question.
I,
So
I'm,
there's,
I'm guessing that it refers to, okay, are you opposed with a man-to-man marking defense or a zone marking defense, or what kind of a structure of play
no, I
are
mean,
you attacking with?
yeah, defensive structure. I think it's better inside the circle, man-to-man situation. I think it's what the most of the teams doing, and I prefer. It's simple. I mean, we deliver free, and then that would be easier. If that was the question.
Mm. If not, Giovanna, just let us know and explain a little bit
Yeah.
more the question here. Question from Carlos Pereira. Fede, the last slide there, where does the game start? Do you play in both circles at the same time?
Yes, at the both. I mean, it's a normal game. You have the both circles, okay, and the balls. I mean, you can go from circle to circle, and you can start like an outlet or free hit inside the circle for the team, and then it's fine. If you get a penalty corner, you can make a penalty stroke. Just the only thing, you have 5 seconds to put the ball in the penalty stroke spot and do it. And yes, yeah, you play in both circles. Okay. Another thing, what I do, it's in that exercise that's really interesting. Normally, the team who's scoring that goal is still there, but after 5 minutes, you get a variante, and then the both team have penetrations in the right and the left side circle. Is once, whoop, sorry, like that should be. Once you score in that part of the field and that goal, you change the role. Okay, you keep the ball possession, you're attacking to the other circle, at least to penetrate on the left side, penetrate to work with penetration on the left side of the circle. That's why we do it after 5 or 7 minutes to create a variant of the drill.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Helen Willis has got a question here from you. Do you underload the A team to create more pressure to try to encourage the deflections instead of time for hitting?
Yes, I mean, in the beginning, that's what I said. The training session, I'm start without opposition just to get the positions and the principles how to play in those zone. After we start playing under low situations, I mean the defenders in under low situations, to at least have a minimum of opposition. And at the end, we try to, I mean, we finish playing in the same situation and also in overload situation defender, because inside the circle, the most of the times, as attackers we are attacking, we are in underload situation. I mean, the strikers are underload situations. So that's something, we work on that. I mean, we start without opposition, underload situation, equal of number of players, and then overload situation for the defenders. That's what we work it, because that's a real situation. We have to try to arrive to the real scenario in the field.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we had a question here. I almost overlooked you, Christina, but thanks, Fede. You're a good example for Argentina. Do you have any advice for encouraging my team for better decision makers because they make the same mistakes all the match? And a good thing to remember here maybe then is that Christina is a goalie. So how can she coach her defense
Yes.
during circle penetrations? Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if it's in defensive way, you mean you are talking for the defensive way?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's would be really interesting. To the most important is protect the center, take your player, marking your player. Just they cannot hit the ball or turn to make you score the balls. The good thing is if they can receive the ball in back. I mean, having the goal at the back of you, because if they turn or make something, that would be dangerous. And then yeah, I mean, that's only I can say. After, I don't know which kind of mistake specific your team are making, but yes, a simple view, I can tell that. I mean,
Protect the center is always a good idea, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, coaches. Any more questions? We still have lots of coaches in the room here, so bring on your questions. Now is the time. It's always fun to watch our videos on demand afterwards, but that's not the moment to bring your questions. So now's the time. Uh, okay. I'm guessing no more questions here. So, Fede, then I only have the time to thank you again for sharing the
No,
knowledge with us and sharing your insights on circle penetrations here. And yeah, let's meet up in a couple of weeks again for a new masterclass for you. But until then,
sure.
thanks very much, and to everybody, bye bye. Have a good weekend. It's EHL time, so there's a good moment to watch a couple of the EHL games this afternoon or this evening. And until then, until next week when we meet again for a new masterclass. Everybody, bye bye.
Bye.